everyone, it's Heidi here with my next installment for my Cricut Cartridge review series. In this episode, we're going to take a look at New Arrival. New Arrival is a cartridge that typically is cuts for baby and expectant mom and new mom and little baby cuts. So let's start off with the base cut. This base cut you can find on page 85 in your New Arrival manual. And basically what the base cut is, it's the cut that you press on your keypad without using any of the function keys. So your base cut for this one is a little baby in the bunting. And that would give you this cut if you press just the key. And then if you press the shift key, you're going to get the bunting layer. And I cut this baby at 3 inches. 3 inches. Okay. One of the things I wanted to show you about New Arrival that I absolutely love is that there are lots of different cuts on this cartridge that don't necessarily have to be for baby. So for example, there's a whole series of animal cuts that are from page 112 in your manual from page 112 to page 117. And these cuts are basically 2 layers, the base layer, and then a layer that you can place on top. And they come in cute little shapes like elephant, a bunny, a monkey, a giraffe, a frog, and a bear. And you can cut these shapes in different color schemes that don't necessarily have to be for a baby. You can use them for child layouts or zoo layouts or safari, different kinds of other layouts other than just baby. So these cuts were all made at 3 inches, except the giraffe. I cut the giraffe at 4 inches. Okay. Now the first function key that we're going to talk about is the circle function key. And the circle function key, I cut this circle with the little booties. It's on page 107. Page 107 is where you'll find it. Here it is, the circle function key. So you're going to press that function key on your keypad, and then to do the double booties, which is what I did, I hit the shift. So without the shift you get the single booty, and then with the shift you get the double booties. And then I just cut a plain circle to back it. The next function key that I want to talk about is card 1. Now New Arrival has 3 different kinds of cards you can cut. So 3 different function keys are cards. So card 1 is the first function key, and it basically cuts a square card with rounded edges and a negative of a shape. And the shape I selected for this one is the diaper pins. So card 1 is right here, and I did not use the shift key, it's just the main card 1, and it came with 3 little diaper pins. And what I did was I backed the diaper pins in patterned paper and then just embellished it. So that's card number 1. Card number 2 comes out with one edge scalloped and with a window, with the shape cut out of the window. So card number 2, which is right here, I picked the card with the 3 diaper pins, and I also backed it with patterned paper, cut a separate set of diaper pins to layer on top of the card. The card itself was 5.5 inches. The diaper pin layers I cut at 2 inches. The third card feature, which would be card 3 feature, is more of a, I would say, an invitation or announcement type card. It doesn't have a traditional opening like the other cards. It's basically just a panel with the cutout at the bottom, and then I layered this on top, which also I cut using New Arrival, and it says name, date, time, weight, length, and parents, and that is for an announcement. So for example, if you wanted to make a baby announcement for your brand new baby, it gives you a cut to use for that. I'm just trying to find what page it's on, and that is on page 89 in your manual, page 89. And I layered patterned paper behind the diaper pin cut, and then just glued down a second card, I guess you'd call it, so that you wouldn't see where I laid the paper. Made it a little thicker too, which is nice. So this is card 3. The next function button that I'd like to talk about is the shadow function button. This is on, these little feet are on page 110 in your manual. Page 110 are the little baby feet, and I cut these at 2 inches, and then I cut the shadow also at 2 inches. And the machine does all the calculating for you, so it comes out perfectly. The little shadow, it's pink, behind the little peach foot. And it kind of gives it a little more dimension and kind of lets it pop up off the page. This is the shadow function button. And all of the cuts in the manual, all of the cuts on New Arrival, I should say, can be used with the shadow feature. All of them. Even the words. Lastly, I'd like to talk about the blackout feature. And the blackout feature, basically what the blackout feature does is it takes any cuts that might be on the shape. So for example, on this shape you can see the eyes, eyebrows, nose, and mouth were cut by the Cricut, and then I just traced over them with a black pen. When you use the blackout feature, it takes away those cuts. So any cuts that might be on the shape are gone. So then what I was able to do was use my Peachy Keen Everyday Character face stamp and stamp the baby's face right onto the body without having those cuts there. And that's what the blackout feature does. Just wanted to show you a few other things I've cut with New Arrival. On this scrapbook page, I cut the train, the choo-choo train, and the giraffe. And you can see how just by changing the color, you can make such a difference. And you can use it for so many different things. Not necessarily baby. Here's a Christmas layout. Here on this layout, I cut the duck, the little duck, using New Arrival. Here's another example of the choo-choo train. Different color scheme, different theme. The other one was Christmas. This one is little boy. And here are a few cards I cut. Here's a card using New Arrival. I cut the rattle and the 2 baby feet. All 3 of these cuts using the shadow function. And on the inside, a little baby bottle, also from New Arrival. This card was, the little baby was cut and used the blackout feature so that I could stamp my Peachy Keen stamp face. It's a Girl was also from this New Arrival cartridge. And this little card was cut using New Arrival and using Design Studio. So I could take the 2 baby buggies and weld them together in Design Studio to create a card. And the little baby with the bunting also was New Arrival. Blackout, I used the blackout feature so I could stamp the face. And I ran the pink bunting and the lace through my my embossing folder to make it embossed, dry embossed, and dimensional. Well, that's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for stopping by. I hope I could make New Arrival a little bit clearer for you, and I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Please come back again. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.